We've been talking with a number of the Battle Creek City Commission candidates as we ready for an election in a little more than a week. These are opportunities to combine with the other information gathering you've been doing to learn about the candidates. And today we'll talk with two this half hour. The first is Chris Simmons, Battle Creek City Commission candidate in Ward 4. And Chris, of course, is a previous commissioner, and he's back on the ballot again to this time. Good morning.
Good. Richard, thanks for having me. And good to be back here on WBCK. This is my old stomping grounds, too. I was here for, my goodness, something like 18 years.
Anything changed in here?
It looks exactly the same. I thought you were going to have this remodeled or something. It's exactly the same.
Anytime now, I'm sure. So why now? Why come back, Chris?
So I was last on the commission 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And I've since moved. My family, folks might remember I have two sets of twins, my wife and I, four kids now. And we were running out of space in our old house. We used to live in Ward 1. So we moved down to the south side of town, down Capitol Avenue Southwest way, and needed more room. And so now we're in Ward 4. And Commissioner Mike Scherzer, here a couple months back resigned because he was moving out of the area. And they, of course, appointed former Mayor John Godfrey to fill his shoes for the 2 months. And I had quite a few people approach me and say, you should go back to the commission. My first reaction was, no, I'm done with that. I enjoy my anonymity. But and then a few more people approached me, and I thought, maybe I could bring some of that experience that I had from 2 terms previously on the commission. And I was heavily involved in the budget process, and that is a very complicated process. And the learning curve on that is quite steep for someone new. And then I also have extensive experience helping constituents with navigating the bureaucracy at City Hall. In fact, a week doesn't go by where I don't get a call from somebody that says, knowing I was a past commissioner, hey, who do I call downtown to help me with this issue? And I point them in the right direction. So I think I can hit the ground running on this city commission thing.
And so then experience is key then when we're talking about a couple of vacancies and some candidates who have not served before. This is more important now then? Is that what you're saying?
Well, you're going to get some turnover. Obviously, we have 3 sitting commissioners who decided not to run for re-election. So you'll have some new faces, 3 at least, potentially even more, depending on how some of the races go. And if you have a significant portion of these new commissioners without that experience, why then it could be a little bit chaotic. Now, that's not to say that fresh blood is not a good thing. And I like to think, so yes, I have this experience from the past. I've been out for a few years, and I think I have some fresh ideas. I think I bring a fresh perspective, would bring a fresh perspective back to the city commission.
What are some of those ideas?
Well, the budget is the biggest thing that the commissioners have to work on. And the last few years, I've seen commissioners, unfortunately, just kind of rubber stamp what was put in front of them. Whereas I was heavily involved in actually, let's look at this budget and we got to bring taxes down in Battle Creek. That's the number one issue that I hear from people. Boy, our property taxes are way too high. Last couple of years, the police and fire pension, millage, it just floats up, and we keep everything else the same, so our taxes go up. When I was on the commission previously, when that police and fire pension millage would float up, I would advocate to push the rest of it down to keep everything level. Well, is level still too high? Yes. We could do other belt tightening, efficiency, and effective measures and save the city of Battle Creek and the taxpayers a lot more money.
What are your impressions of the priority-based process that has been implemented here?
I think we could do more to make things more efficient and effective on city government and then return those savings to people, because the tax-paying citizens, they work hard every day and they have to tighten their belts. Our wages don't go up like the city budget goes up every year, and so the city government needs to be held to the same account as our own budgets.
Some people react when they hear lower taxes. Okay, so how do we make up for that? So if you lower taxes, the revenues are down. How do you sort that?
But not
out?
Necessarily. We're watching the housing market in Battle Creek turn around.
Yeah.
I just sold my previous house that I lived in for considerably more than it was the tax value. And so that's going to go up. And as these homes sell and as the market turns around and things start growing again, you're going to see tax revenues increase. So sometimes you can lower taxes, but with that growth, you can actually see more revenue coming in. I think we're heading down that path. Same with the police and fire pension. We were seeing quite a bump in the stock market. We're going to realize that in a few years.
Right.
And rather than spend any savings we might get from that, I hope we can pass that back to our residents.
All right, Chris Simmons is a candidate for Ward 4, previously Ward 1.
Yes, sir.
When you served before, also served as vice mayor in the past, wants your vote again a week from tomorrow.
That's coming up fast.
Battle Creek. It sure is, isn't it? All right, Chris, thank you and good luck.
Good to see you, Richard. Thank you.
Take care.